Hey, Vikings fans, special treat. Charles Davis, he's all over everything NFL, especially NFL draft now that we're here at the Combine. And so, Charles, I'm just going to come out right out the gate. I know it's still early.
Yeah.
Still a lot of people to evaluate, but what we know right now about the quarterback position in this draft, and that kind of dictates how popular the draft is and all that stuff. But what are you most excited for this particular draft?
Well, Ben, is not the quarterback position, because this year I think the quarterback position last year was huge. We know, right? This year I think the quarterback position is going to be taken care of before we even get to the draft in a lot of ways. Free agency, trades, things of that nature. Will some of the big-name quarterbacks move? Will some of the guys who have been backups get another opportunity to be a starter, a la Mitchell Trubisky, Marcus Mariota, that sort of a deal? And then we find where the holes are, because the attraction of this year's quarterback group, I think, is potential and grooming. Last year, draft and play.
Yeah.
Different deal for that overall. So what I'm looking forward to seeing is, where is the rush? Is it going to be at the receiver position? Is it going to be at the bigs, meaning the offensive, defensive linemen? Because we found out Cincinnati, they really want to fortify their offensive line because they felt like that might have cost them a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And that being said, some of those guys, maybe an edge guy, some of these cornerbacks, stuff like that. Vikings sit at 12 as we are right now, and we all know things can change, but we'll keep it at 12. Who would you think the Vikings, with all the transitions, new head coach, offense maybe look a little bit different, but defense sounds like it's going to look a lot different going to a 3-4 scheme. Where do you think the Vikings are going to go at 12? What position group do you see going after at 12?
Oh, man, I'm telling you, to me, they've got multiple places, all right? We've been known to see the Vikings go after corners for a long time, right? Sauce Gardner will be sitting there, I think, out of Cincinnati, maybe the top-ranked corner in the draft. The linebackers have been taken care of so ably by Eric Kendricks and Anthony Barr for so long. Do you start to supplement there? There's a Nakobe Dean out of Georgia. There's a Devin Lloyd out of Utah, who I really, really like. And while I'm not sure anyone's Micah Parsons, Lloyd has a little bit of that towards him with the speed. He can run, he can blitz. So I kind of look at him a little bit. If you want to go edge, okay, I think that Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau are both gone by 12. Is George Karlaftis out of Purdue, of interest? How high do you go for Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State?
And he's an Eden Prairie, Minnesota guy.
Eden Prairie, Minnesota guy.
There
what about a Trayvon Walker out of Georgia? How high do you go with something like that? But those are some names that are kind of kicking around my old cabeza for right now.
Well, that's been the debate for all of us here, just privately, is it's cart, horse, chicken, egg. As you see it in your eyes, what's more important to a defense? A solid pass rush or a lockdown corner?
See, I am so old school. My automatic go-to is solid pass rush. That's what it's always been. But it's really interesting to me that in recent years, teams have prioritized the lockdown corner. And what's been interesting is the explanation for it. I remember talking with a defensive coordinator, and I was like, I still think the pass rush. He said, you're not wrong, but think about how fast that ball's getting out of quarterbacks' hands nowadays. He said, sometimes they blunt our pass rush with, it's catch, rock, and fire. Catch, rock, and fire. Now, I'm still old school. It's hard to get me off of it. I still want that monster guy. I still want Myles Garrett.
Yeah. Well,
okay?
Look what the Rams did.
When Danielle Hunter's at the top of his game, I still want Danielle Hunter.
Yeah. Look what the Rams did this year, not only in the Super Bowl, but the whole season, front seven got after it. Look what Tampa Bay did. Tom Brady didn't really win that Super Bowl. That defense
crushed
won
them.
That Super Bowl 2 years
Absolutely.
ago.
So I'm with you on that one. And here's the other part of it too. The way that these defenses are playing, a Gus Bradley, Matt Eberflus before he took over the Chicago Bears, they want the front four to win, and then you can play games with the back seven. So you can help your corners, but if you have a front four that can win, now let's face it, we don't all have Aaron Donald breaking down the interior, but that interior pass rusher and off the edge, you can create some damage.
All right, last one for you. This one's interesting because it was mentioned a little bit in Kwesi's press conference yesterday. The idea that this is his first draft.
Yeah.
This is Kevin O'Connell's first draft. So if you're a Vikings fan looking at this draft and knowing that those are rookie guys going this process, does that excite you, or does that kind of give you a little bit of anxiety knowing like, we don't know what these guys, we don't know their approach. There's no historical perspective on what they're going to do.
Well, it excites me from the outside looking in because I can't wait to see what they do. But I think from, as you phrased it, from the fans' perspective, I would have excitement with it. Fresh eyes, fresh approach, how they're going to do things. And the biggest one is watching their collaboration, because they have to have a shared vision on what the roster ultimately needs to look like. Yeah. You know, you can't be Kevin O'Connell saying, I want to play like this, and Kwesi drafting guys that don't play like that.
Yeah.
You know, well, I kind of see it this way.
Yeah.
Watching those collaborations, that's been the best we've seen. Seattle with their run with Pete Carroll and John Schneider, right? Bill Belichick makes all the final decisions in New England, but look around. Look at what Les Snead and Sean McVay did in Los Angeles, right? Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch in San Francisco. They were within a whisker of another Super Bowl. They've been to one. Kansas City with Brett Veach and Andy Reid. I can go on and on. The best ones are that GM, head coach, and Buffalo, which feels like they should be in a Super Bowl already. Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott.
And all those guys that you mentioned, those teams and organizations, lockstep with their approach and the culture of what
they
they
disagree,
want.
but they know how to disagree.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, he's the best.